take long. Okay, so our first example is going to be f of x equals the fifth root of 3 times the quantity of x minus 4 minus 7. So really, this whole lesson is just kind of your success is predicated on your understanding of the order of operations. And I know that you got that figured out pretty quick yesterday. So I don't see any stragglers here. A straggler would be someone that I would need to divide away or add away or subtract away. So in this case, I'm interested that this is by itself. So that's going to cause this problem to be a little bit maybe quicker or easier. So let's begin with the swap. So we have x equals the fifth root of and whether or not you distribute that, again, it's going to come down to it's a multiple choice thing. So if you wanted to, you could call this like 3x minus 19.
3y. No.
Yeah, 3y. Thank you. That's my bad. Thank you so much. Yes. So are we good with that? And again, that could go either way. Like if you were looking at the answers and you see that the author of the problem didn't do that, then you'd have to go back and undo that. It doesn't really matter. It's inconsequential. Anyhow, so right away, boom, what's the step? What do we do?
Raise it to the fifth.
Yep, good. We raise both sides to the power of 5. And we know that because we're trying to undo a fifth root. And a fifth power will always kill a fifth root. All right. So we're left with 3, and I'm going to switch sides. You saw me do this a bunch yesterday. I'm a target variable on the left kind of guy. When I don't do it, it kind of hurts my soul, not going to lie. Okay. Everybody see what happened? So the fifth power killed the fifth root. The 3y and the 19 are now free to move about the cabin. And at this point, it's a pretty rudimentary algebra sort of vibe. What would we do next?
Add 19 to both sides.
Adding 19 is the right answer. So then we'd get 3y equals x to the fifth plus 19. And then what's the last step?
Divide both sides by 3.
We divide both sides by 3, right? So we wind up with f inverse of x is equal to the quantity of x to the fifth plus 19, all divided by 3. And again, if you didn't see that answer, you would want to double check your work and make sure that you didn't do anything bad. But then after that inspection, then you'd probably want to go back. And when we made that choice up here to distribute the 3x minus 12 minus 7, then maybe we could go back and say, well, maybe the author of the problem wanted the 3 times x minus 4 to remain intact for some reason. You can go back and solve those problems. Okay. So they're a little bit trickier, but I mean, still, if you understand the basics of algebra, like how to undo operations, you shouldn't struggle. So I got a few more. Next one, f of x is equal to the quantity of 8 times the seventh root of x minus 2, close that quantity raised to the fifth power. Do you see any stragglers?
You gotta take the fifth root.
The answer is no. I see Christian shaking his head, and the answer is no. When I talk about a straggler would be like here. If there were a 3 poised there, we'd have to divide him. You can't exponentiate or root stuff unless it's ready to, like, it's got to be by itself. So if that were a straggler, you'd divide. If you saw a straggler like hanging out here, you'd have to subtract, right? So clear all excess junk away before you do the meat and potatoes part of it. So yeah, no stragglers. So I heard you say we're going to do what?
Take the fifth root of everything.
That's right. So we're just going to right away just take the fifth root of both sides of this problem. So well, we do have to do the invert first, the inversion. So I do have to, and I'll get my variables right this time. So we're going to have x equals big quantity of 8 times the seventh root of y minus 2 quantity raised to the fifth power. Yeah. Okay, so there's that. And now, yeah, we're going to take both sides and smack them both with a big fifth root symbol like this. The mission being, I want all that stuff that's in parentheses to be free to move about the cabin. And it can't happen when it's bound up in jail. So to do the switch to get my y on the left, I'm going to go ahead and do a little switcherooski here. So I'm going to take left side and right side and just give them the old flop flop. So my left side is going to be 8 times the seventh root of y minus 2 is equal to the fifth root of x. Like a lot of things in math, this looks more complex than it is. I mean, good fundamental understanding of algebra will take you a long ways in math. Those instincts and those feelings that you just develop because you do enough hundreds or thousands of problems. So just follow your heart. What's the next thing we have to do to start thinking about getting y by itself?
Cluster.
Adding two is the right answer. Like that's a straggler for sure. And stragglers need to be dismantled, just like I taught you back in eighth or ninth grade. Stragglers need to go in a certain order, right? Plus and minuses go first, divisions and times go second. So we're going to add two first off, and we're going to be left with 8 times the seventh root of our target is equal to the fifth root of x plus 2. Next step, divide by 8, and we're left with the seventh root of y is equal to the fifth root of x plus 2 all quantity divided by 8. Can you imagine looking at something like this years ago and you just say, oh my God, that looks so hard. And then you realize we're just moving stuff around. We're just dorking around, you know, doing and undoing things. What's the last step? Slap some parentheses on there and raise both sides to the power of 7. All right. And we don't want you, I mean, I didn't write these problems. Someone at Delta Math did, but no one, I assure you, wants you to try to figure out what this quantity times itself 7 times is. No way. You could give me all evening to figure that out, and I would resent you for a week for asking me to do it. So no, we're just going to call it good. And we're going to say, okay, I'm done. F inverse of x is equal to this thing, the fifth root of x plus 2 divided by 8 raised to the 7th. And again, huge bark, like big, loud, rough bark, but the bite is just nothing. Again, provided you have good basics. All right, let's hit another one. We have f of x equals 10 times x to the power of 1/5 minus 2. See any stragglers? I see 2. Right. And you got to know that the red jelly bean is like your target. The red jelly bean is what you have to get by itself, right? Again, no rooting or exponentiation is going to happen until you do that. So let's add 2. Let's invert first. So x equals, and by the way, if you want to save some time, is there any law that would prevent me from doing a little bit of, that? No. You're going to have to add the 2, right? Just do it now. While you invert, maybe save a little bit of time. And then if you want to do the swap like your OCD teacher does, then I could say, okay, so now I have y to the power of 1/5 is equal to x plus 2 divided by 10. What's the last thing we do?
No.
Already did that.
Take everything to the fifth.
Yeah. So again, we want to use an exponent to kill a fractional exponent. We're really using an exponent to kill a root for the record. Remember that y to the power of 1/5 is the same as saying the fifth root of y. They are identical. So just applying the power of 5 like this makes the mission over, right? So we're done, and we say that f inverse of x is equal to the quantity of x plus 2 divided by 10 raised to the power of 5. Questions so far? All right, let's make this official and finish our last 2 examples. Okay, I don't want to cut corners on you here. Your education is more important than me getting concessions ready. So this should take 5 minutes and then we'll be done. So our next one, we have f of x is equal to the quantity of x minus 8. And again, this was just a sampling. I'm sure if I had sat here and clicked on the Delta Math for another 5 minutes, I could have found a ton more. Just be good. Just be good with your basics. Follow your instincts. Eliminate stragglers. Root or exponentiate. Solve. Like in that order every single time. Any stragglers? None,
No.
right? There's no one attached to the exponent. We call that the power. No numbers attached. No numbers plus or minus. So we're just free to go. I'm going to do something here, and you're going to tell me if it makes you uncomfortable. So here it goes. I'm going to write y minus 8 over 8 equals the cube root of x.
Yep.
In that, I kind of went a little crazy mode on you there, but like there's a couple steps in between there that I opted to not show, right? So like the first one would have been x equals blah, blah, blah. And then I would have switched the sides and cube rooted both sides. Is that okay with you?
That works.
So feel free. I mean, it's Delta Math, so it's not like I'm watching over your shoulder, but feel free to start like maybe thinking about cutting some corners and do kind of like Sutter was doing yesterday. Feel free to like start looking at it and strategize and do a little bit more mental math as you go. But I think this assignment deserves a little bit more respect or work than maybe yesterday's. And then from here, it's just basic algebra. So to finish the job, what would we do first? Multiply by 8. So this is the exception. Like we wouldn't add 8 in this case because he's not free to move about the cabin, right? He's bound up in a quotient. So we're going to multiply by 8. And then what would be the thing we would do after that?
Then we would add it.
And then we would add 8. And again, since this isn't like an 8th grade class, there would be no harm in you just jumping right to the solution at this point and saying, okay, I got this. F inverse of x equals 8 times the cube root of x plus 8, right? No harm in saving a little bit of time. Good, good.
Mhm.
Okay. Last one. So we have a function, f of x, and he is the cube root of just a thing. X to the 6th minus 4 over 8. Ooh-wee. Any stragglers? Nada. All right. You got one big cube root. So this is going to be a get in pretty quick attack mode kind of problem. I'm not going to, I got some weird looks last time when I started jumping too much. So I'm going to go a little slower this time. So my swapping of the variables would be x equals the cube root of this thing, y to the 6th minus 4 all over 8. And I'm going to do 2 steps at once here. I'm going to attack the root and also flip-flop my side. So what would my big move be here? Yeah, we want to take both sides and raise them to the 3rd power, right? Just always ask yourself, what am I trying to kill? Right? There's a killer for everything in math, right? Logs kill exponentials. I mean, roots kill powers, plus kills minus. Everyone in math can be undone. That's your mission. So if we cube both sides, then our left side just becomes y to the 6th minus 4 over 8. And our right side is just a nice clean x cubed. And again, I would be surprised if you weren't comfortable just doing both of these next 2 steps at once. In order, what are they? What's the first step?
X cubed.
Multiply by 8 first, and then add 4. So at this point, you could just hop right ahead and say, I'm done. F inverse of x is equal to 8 times the thing that was just sitting over there minding its own business. And then here comes the straggler, bringing up the rear, plus 4.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, there's
all of it to one.
I knew that. I was testing you guys. Right. Yeah. Thanks. So now we have to 6th root everything. Thank you very much. So our final answer, thank you, would be F inverse. You thought, what did I miss? No, it's not you, it's me. Would be the 6th root of all that stuff. 8x to the 3rd. Thanks, guys, for keeping me in line. Appreciate you. Questions? By the way, I did not actually solve that Kakuro. I went back and checked, and the ending didn't work. I was wrong. Did I already tell you that?
Oh,
I've got it right here, and if I weren't so busy, I would have already done this, but I'm going to erase it and start over again because I'm getting ready to. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm on the recording, so I won't talk. What? Yeah. Oh, by the way, and good. I'm so glad I'm still recording. Anderson asked this. If you didn't, thank you so much. If you didn't see this answer, you might see this answer. He said, could I just slap some parentheses on there and raise? And again, yes, because that's the exact same thing as taking a 6th root, right?
Yeah.
So like you might see quantity 8x to the 3rd plus 4 raised to the power. Great question. Like that would be like your alternative. My answer is not there kind of thing, right? All right, so you guys are going to work on your delta in the library. I am going to head down to concessions. Okay.
this is one where people put